And here we go for the final time tonight in what is really the last game of the regular season, Max. All the teams are secured for playoffs. Direwolves, despite not being there, really came out and showed us that, look, there's a lot more for us to show if only we had more time to try and gel as a team and figure out really what our strat was from day one.
That really will be the sad aspect of this win from the Direwolves. They looked so good there in game one, playing perfectly around this bot lane and finally getting to showcase, I guess, what Katsuri looks like when he can be fully unleashed. And I'm sure that heading into game two, the Direwolves, they switch sides, will be looking to secure a similar position for their AD carry.
They certainly will. Fury opting to show what they can do from the blue side this time around. Flipping it over and have made a few different decisions here. They're actually betting away the Orianna with the Cassante and the Syndra instead of the Karma last game. It does beg the question, what is their first pick priority? We saw the Lucian, they've let it through once more. And if it's not to be denied, then surely it's as easy as Katsuri locking in it again.
Yeah, you wonder whether Hooper will head towards that pick himself. With the center being taken off the table, the only other AD carry that really kind of stands out to me would be something like a Kalista. But in fact, it'll actually be the Karma locked in here. So Chirp might be looking at back-to-back support games in that mid lane. Or could always fight its way down to the bot lane. But like you said, still Lucian available. Milio also the pairing that got removed from it last game. Still there on the table.
Certainly is still on the table. And as you mentioned, for the Karma, could still be flexed. But certainly when they played it up against Team Bliss, made life very easy for them to command a strong sense of direction. Obviously went for a much more AP-orientated build that game too, and did offer them that second source of damage threat for itemization. Direwolves though, as you say, Lucian's going to be locked in. Now the real kicker, is it a case of Nami or is it the Milio? What do you value more? And what do you predict that your opponents would lock in to try and make that one difficult? Forget all that though, they say we don't even care about the support, we don't want to take their gamble, we just want to guarantee ourselves LeBlanc.
And this is an Emperor's staple, right? I remember when he first came into Professional League, this is the pick that he really centered around, that everyone was respect banning from him. So nice to see him back up once again. Kind of operates at a similar style to this Lucian in the sense that they both want to dash in, do a bit of damage and dash back out. Hyper-mobile champions who will certainly be able to give your team a little bit of a boost in those skirmishes. But on the other side, it will be this TF that was previously taken away, right? So we have this picked up, could go anywhere. That's the thing about this pick right now, is there's so much versatility in terms of whether it could be an AD carry, it could be a top laner, it could also be mid, depending on what champions you are comfortable piloting. It'll be paired with the Xin Zhao, so a very strong lockdown CC skirmishing combo here picked up for Fury.
So he is, we've seen the strength of why it is so strong, right? You get the boots of swiftness and you are just running all over the show, especially with the Ghost and Flash combination, making it very easy for the sustain, as well as that lockdown. They do, in fact, actually go for the Nami, just looking to try and double down on that early game success from game one, and maybe saying that it's not about that sort of passive affair of, investing in those team fights. If we do win the lane, we do just simply win the game.
Yeah, and really, why would you go away from it? It looked so good last game. Besides Shinky getting caught out at that one time, face-checking a bush on mid lane, he really had a fantastic game to be able to back up Katsuri on this pick, so I think they have that comfort. They already have shown that they can perform on it in game one, and now they're looking to do the same on game two. Now, the question is, what do you actually take away in the ban phase? The Direwolves will be targeting the Caitlyn here. One of the only things that can actually stand up to Lucian in lane because of the range that it possesses. But there's always the window that TF is actually heading down towards that bot lane. You really never know, and that makes drafting so hard.
It certainly does. So Twisted Fate into the match of Lucian certainly would be a nice one to keep our eyes on. And with them already getting a bit of AP in the Karma, you certainly can't imagine them going through any kind of craziness, like a Ziggs in the bot lane, for instance, would seem to be too much towards that direction.
Okay.
Jax is going to come out to play then. And we didn't see the Riven ban last game. You wondered, would there ever be a case where Riven would run it back again like he did in week one? He's going to opt for the Jax.
Well, the thing is here, this is a fantastic Jax game. No matter if it ends up being jungle or top, you get so much value playing into this Xin Zhao TF as the Jax, right? That E is getting so much value. And another champion you also get a lot of value against is the Yasuo. So this has been picked up for Fury. Unsure where this actually will end up, but does get a lot of value out of that wind wall against the Lucian Nami, right? You can just throw that up and, even if you have all the damage in the world, none of it will be landing through that W. So Be interesting to see how Fury do want to set up this Yasuo pick. They will go towards the Galio here.
Wow.
And I'm a bit confused as to where everyone will actually be ending up.
They really are cooking on this occasion, aren't they? All these champions never to be played before by the likes of Chirp, Hooper, as well as Tomasino. So really are looking to try and make a bit of a debut, a bit of a statement that this is our last game. We cooked in game 1. We're not looking to shy away from that kind of style in game 2. We want reps on stage with different ideas. I want to see if we can hit the hammer with it. Out comes the Aurelia. And the second person now to showcase it. It feels like this 5th pick on red side is always keeping Max entertained.
What do you even put into your Aurelia here? Like, I'm so confused as to what Fury want as the matchups, because either way you spin it, whether it's a Yasuo or a Twisted Fate, either way, the Aurelia is feeling pretty happy about that matchup. So Fury, on the one hand, have a very, stereotypical death ball team comp in which they just want to absolutely send it all together, grouped up, and find success that way. Whereas the Direwolves are much happier dashing in and out of these team fights, not really committing, but allowing this Lucian army to get to work.
They certainly are. Lucian army certainly going to be the core crux of this comp again. And you already mentioned it, the amount of dashes and mobility that Direwolves have. If it's not Lucian army killing you, then it's a LeBlanc or a Jax or an Aurelia all running you down. No one will be safe. And we saw the common theme from game 1B. If your flash is gone, you are just simply dead. And for the most part, a lot of the time, it did feel like Fury had that flash expended and used on CD.
Yeah, will be very interesting here in game 2, as the top lane is really the one that's captivating my attention. Aurelia versus Yasuo is a very, very skill-based matchup. It can really go either way. More breaking in the Aurelia's favor. If she's able to get towards that Bork earlier, then Yasuo can get his items online. But certainly keep your eyes there, as the junglers will be able to have a massive impact and really swing that game. We saw from game 1 how volatile Tomasino and River were in just a Camille versus Zac matchup. So you can only imagine just how exciting they'll be on a Yasuo versus Aurelia.
They certainly should be. They are really looking to try and entertain the viewers. Those that are long diehard LCO fans and those that are maybe just checking in to see what happens down under. They are being treated to a game which will be messy, will be chaotic, but at the end of the day, it should be a whole lot of fun. Let's load into the Rift for the final time this season as we see how these two teams really do close things out.
Okay, so a level 1 play here from the side of Fury. They have the TF, they've brought him up, but it will be spotted out by River, who will use the E there to get out of harm's way. And already you can see the summoner spells coming out from Chirp in his mid lane, opting for the Ghost, as he actually is going to use it now and just get his steps in.
Yep, the steps towards 10k, certainly on point, nice and early from that point, right? So the Doctor's happy, but the summoner has been used. And without a TP, very much looking to try and become Twisted Fate 2.0, right? Two big global champions looking to grieve for the combat summoners and utilize their ultimate instead.
Yeah, we'll be looking to link up with his teammates here, especially Nox in this early game, who we've known to be quite aggressive in terms of his pathing and his willingness to take trades. It's a W start here for the Galio though, so whilst he will have a little bit of a shield, he won't have the ability to wave clear as effectively, especially on those backline minions. And a nice chain start there from Memphis, going to dissuade any potential trade coming out from this Aftershock Galio.
So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a menace in this mid lane. It feels like such a long time ago we saw a comp like this. I feel like don't see it over too often, but certainly is going to be looking to try and jump upon that Twisted Fate to make things happen. And I tell you what, Tomasino very early on is looking to really lay down the pressure to River, who's already had the burn the flash too.
Yeah, so it's a really well-played level 1 there from Yasuo. Basically in every Aurelia matchup where you're playing that strong melee champion, you want to look to zone them level 1 as flash burn from Shinky here. Cleanse from Katsuri as well.
Perfect flash. Full-on Captain Jack mode there from Katsuri, making sure he didn't miss a beat as he ran to safety underneath that tower. But this is the pressure that they were looking to try and anticipate. We'll let you have your Lucian, but we're going to look to really try and shut it down now with this TF.
Yeah, the TF pick's looking good so far. I mean, we'll see how it happens once the level 2 comes online for the Direwolves and they're able to trade back with that Nami E. But so far, the top lane going overwhelmingly in the favor of Fury. You can see 14 CS to 1 here for Tomasino, who did a very nice job level 1 zoning not only the CS but also the XP, and that's going to enable him to have such a huge advantage here. And Nox off the back of his bot lane and mid lane both having priority. He's looking for his invade here. Has Smite, but Lisa sees it too.
Lisa does see it too and walks on in and does get it denied, so no blue buff for the Jungle Jacks on this occasion. Counter-Strike going out, only going to stun one as Chirp is the recipient of that. A nice ward hop away to safety, denies Nox of finding any more success in that little scrap as he dashes back to the enemy Gromp to keep up his pressure. Everybody being drawn down here, all 4 members from either side looking to contest. We're only 3 minutes in and now becomes the case of who has the CDs first. There's a great flash away from Nox as he jumps back in. Wind becomes lightning, guarantees it as the support in Findo for Karma gets it done. They flash, double flash to find Nox, who in the end runs for the hills. But there's just so much mobility from Direwolves that Shinky receives the pain from free. But in the end, Nox runs out of steam.
Yeah, big skirmish there from the side of Fury. Nox playing it mechanically very well to kite in and out of the Jax's Counter-Strike. And ultimately, the 2 kills will be going over to the Fury bot lane. So TF and Karma finding so much early value in terms of both the CC and base damage that they're able to output. And we see an invade going in the favor of Fury. So Chirp, as we can see once again, very willing to use his summoners, has expended a flash before this to try to get that initial kill on Lisa. And you can see, even though his bot lane's basically hitting the enemy turret, he's still willing to run up like this, still kind of bluffing Direwolves. But keep your eye on Nox here, flashes out with the 3rd Q ready, dashes back in, and that CC and that damage is enough to take down Lisa for first blood. Off the back end of this play, double flashes committed to get on towards Nox, who does eventually fall down. But on the other side, it's being traded back with a kill for Hooper.
Nox going to show no signs of slowing down, though. He's certainly made his presence known in the enemy half that Lisa on this Jungle Jax is going to have little to no fun. Not only is it Nox linking up, but it's also Tomasino. It feels like Nox is really calling the shots like a commander on the battlefield, saying, if I'm here, we're going in. And you will definitely follow my call. Well, it's working out well for them so far, despite Direwolves answering back and at least getting him in the end. It is Fury still with a bit of a minute gold lead 5 minutes in.
Absolutely is, though. You can see the priority that he's leveraging from both his top and mid lane. Just providing so much value. As they're potentially setting up a dive here. They've brought Chirp up as well. Keep in mind, there's no flash on this Aurelia.
Aurelia in a lot of trouble right now and doesn't have that Defiant Dance to try and look to really defy all this damage. But he's going to go in for the Flawless Duet, miss the stun, but still pursue the kill, and does get rewarded in the end. But Mage had to trade himself in the process, dashing around with the Blade Surge to try and live just a fraction longer with that Conqueror fully stacked on up. But Emphis never really under any threat as he just waits for that distortion out to safety.
Nice response there from the side of the Direwolves. The TP is expended to stop the dive onto River, who also plays it very well. You can see double dashing to get out of the range of the Galio W. Means that he's not able to be CC'd, not able to be locked down and killed for that single dive. So, yes, there's a TP used, but actually, look at the top lane once again as this dive's going on bot lane, but meanwhile, top lane.
Oh, let Hooper live for once. He's had such a rough series already, but no, under threat, under siege. He dies when River has literally just TP'd back to lane, and he's dead again.
I mean, Findo is just really playing everywhere except for Hooper, who will ultimately go down on the bot side of the map to a 3-man dive. As we can take a look at this initial play once again. So you can see the Q onto the minion and then Q onto Nox to get out of the Galio W really creates enough space. And then the Xin Zhao, this is a guy without flash who used it in the previous play. Means he goes down for that kill. And yes, off the back end, River will die, but he has the TP to get back to lane. So all things considered, it could have gone a lot worse for the Direwolves.
Certainly could have gone a lot worse there, but Nox is once again going to be aggressive and utilize that pressure in the top lane. Rewarded by the kill, straight to the Void Grubs, picks up all 3. Findo returns to bot lane and a great ward by him. Make sure that he doesn't get jumped upon because Katsuri on the Lucian, instant cleanse, always keen for action.
Yeah, Captain Jack over here hitting cleanse after cleanse to ensure the trade is going in their favor, and especially the fact that he's playing the first strike Lucian means that these trades not only are securing yourself a health advantage, but a gold advantage as well. Now, on the top side, we can see a bit of a map split really coming through here. Nox opting to play towards this Yasuo, trying to further snowball this matchup as Katsuri is looking to find Findo.
With the last bit of mana that he has, he hits the culling and looks to try and get them low enough for Lisa to once again pay attention to the bot lane and pay a visit to guarantee another kill. It starts off all the same. Aqua Prison into Counter-Strike, into kill number 2, and he's flashed out of range, and it actually is enough. The turret was peppering him with the Karma root, seemingly enough. but back to top lane. River trying to be absolutely crazy with it, but Tomasino's having none of it.
Yeah, how do you outplay that one with the 3Q from the Xin Zhao, securing that Yasuo ultimate? As meanwhile, mid lane, feels like we can never really take a break here, Skimmy.
Wow, take a breather, take a step into taking into consideration what is our map state now.
Yeah, I mean, well, to start off with, Hooper in the bot lane is not having a great time. The Lucian Army just able to stack waves. They're taking good trades as well, which means that they have the HP and push advantage. And that enables Lisa to get down towards this bot side, whereas really Fury have been focused on getting Tomasino ahead in this 1v1. As we take another look at this dive, you can see all the HP that's originally been lost means that Hooper, once he tanks at Aqua Prison, which is really nicely done from Shinky, he does just fall down. And I'm so surprised another turret shot doesn't come through there. It's about a millisecond away from firing. And on the top side, you can see Nox preparing his Q there. So even once the flash comes out, the auto's already buffered. And River will fall down once again. So it really is a trade of sides here. A trade of styles as Shinky has been found.
He certainly has been found, and whilst he was the one to try and be aggressive on this occasion, is going to fall victim to the same level of CC chaining that he's usually dealing instead. Hooper finds his second kill then, as the ADTF comes into effect. But back in the top lane, it continues to be aggressive. Sidestep down the queue. Tomasino flashing River! Oh, River! River. So close to answering back, and that would have been crucial into what was already a 4-0 Yasuo.
Yeah, that was way too close for comfort if you're Tomasino. Has to expend the flash, and it's really only because he has that summon spell advantage that he is able to get that kill, but he picks it up nonetheless. And meanwhile, Fury, they are looking towards this bot side, but dives certainly aren't as easy for them as they were for the Direwolves. Chirp, once again, looking to get active on this Ghost Galileo. Both summoners available, which means he can be anywhere in a heartbeat. But for now, gold lead favoring Fury here. Tomasino, I'm sure, is a large part of that. But also with that recent kill going over to Hooper, he's slowly working his way back into a position of neutrality.
Certainly is, and they do need to rely upon another source of strength in this game. I was quite curious to see what build that Chirp would go for, whether or not he would go for a very support-oriented style of the Galio, but the Hextech Alternator clearly going towards, well, you'd imagine either the Rocket Belt or perhaps even the Lichbane, right, to try and be a bit of a damage threat, to make sure they do have some AP damage in their arsenal. They still continue to fight. River, chill out. He's 4-0. This Yasuo is trying to do the Uno reverse and not going 0-10, but 10-0 instead. Tomasino, I tell you what, that is montage where he just stands still and says, reveal yourself, it's always a kill.
I'm not really sure what River's looking for there. The Wind Wall from Yasuo providing so much value, able to block both the Flawless Duet and the Vanguard's Edge there to ensure that River really has no chance of fighting back. And it simply is just a wallet gap at this stage. Once the Borks come online, as a minor to hold my thought here, Empus is getting looked on mid lane.
He's being looked on, but he's trying to dodge as much as he can. Flash goes out, Nox buffering it with that 3-point strike. And I tell you what, this Xin Zhao has been superb. Yes, he'll fall on down, but these buffered Qs have been simply sublime. Once again, Katsuri, he's just too good at using claims. Flash away from that tidal wave, but you're not flashing away from this Lucian. The gold card comes out for the second time, but it's still the Lucian that prevails.
A perfect cleanse there from Katsuri to pick up his third kill of the game there. It was actually an interesting interaction that I wanted to talk about on the mid lane there. You could see that the Xin Zhao ultimate cast, and it originally hits the LeBlanc clone, I believe, which actually knocks the real LeBlanc back. Luckily, they're still able to find the kill there. And it's a 30 CS lead in this bot lane here for the Direwolves. 3-0 sitting Katsuri. Nice and pretty against this TF. And almost feels like a complete repeat of Game 1 where Tomasino is all the gold lead for Fury, whereas Katsuri is holding it down for the Direwolves.
He certainly is, but Katsuri under threat once more, receives a heal from the Nami as Lisa in that flank from the side. Lisa looking for the counter-strike onto Hooper, who is running away, and Infino says, I really regret that decision. It just falls on down.
And he actually had the shutdown as well, so even more gold will be going over into the back pocket there of Katsuri. Meanwhile, River is not having a fun time whatsoever. You can see in his eyes in the player cameras, that is the eyes of a man who does not want to be playing top lane right now. Forced to sit underneath his tier 2 as the map is split against him. And plain and simple, a Blade of the Ruined King Yasuo is just too strong for Aurelia to compete. So all he can do is watch as his turret gets taken down.
And you mentioned very early on when these two picks were revealed and locked in for that position that this was going to be a bit of a skill matchup. He's lost that skill matchup on a few different occasions. So close for the margins. And it really could be a different fate right now, but without any kind of jungle intervention, this is what he's forced to do. Just sit in a bush and be denied gold, experience, and I suppose any kind of dopamine to enjoy this lane.
Not a lot of dopamine to be found in this top lane, unfortunately. As the wave does come in, he should be able to collect these minions here and potentially start a little bit of a freeze. As the Aurelia, you'd be hoping that that's what you're able to do to really try to claw your way back into this game, because any fight against the Yasuo at this stage would just be a disaster. Meanwhile, bot lane, Nox is looking. Katsuri doesn't have flash.
Doesn't have flash, but is actually going to get aided by a nice Aqua Prism. As well as the tidal wave, the full cycle of cooldowns to say, you will get pounced upon and say, we will jump on you. Nice flawless duet! As River says, I'm sick and tired of this top lane. It sucks. I'm TPing to bot. And just like that, he's picked up 2 kills.
Top lane's not working out, but why not try bot lane? As Hooper tries to find an ultimate there onto Memphis. Will land a gold card, but not much to follow afterwards. And it's a nice TP play in from River there. Finds a kill. Yes, he has to expend the flash, but ultimately any gold that you can get at this stage, you will take. And that opens up a window here for the Direwolves bot lane and jungler to pick up this tower. A nice Aqua Prisoners. Galio is walking down. Chirp's here and he's very fast.
He's incredibly fast with the rocket though, and the Ghost Active. It's going to be a 2-man taunt. Shinky sidestepping it, but considering his life in the process, no, he flashed the heal to try and rise and survive. The target always was take down Katsuri, and then we win the fight. They will prevail. Thomasino does tick over to level 11, 7-0 as this Yasuo, as it really is the battle between who can pop off harder, and Memphis finds 2 as well.
Oh, it's a huge play from Thomasino there. Lands the ultimate onto Katsuri, who was trying to dash out on the back end of that play, and that enables him to close the distance between Shinky as well. So just a quick 2 kills there for Thomasino, who, like you said, is quickly becoming the sole possessor really of the lead here. 3 members brought down to break open this turret. They will crack it, but it will be traded up here on the top side. So, you know, despite all the blood of this game, 22 kills in 15 minutes, it's only 2,000 gold that is separating these 2 teams.
Yeah, incredibly slim margins. As you rightly mentioned, it will be Thomasino that holds all that wealth. Let's run it back with this initial play, because it's Chip sprinting into the bot lane.
Yeah, Mach 10 Galio comes in here. Nice cleanse, but the knock-up landing onto Katsuri there is really the crucial factor that allows Thomasino access into this backline. Does have to flash because the tornado misses, but still will be able to find those 2 kills. And then off the back end of this, it's just such a strong DPS Yasuo that you can't really take any extended fight. We'll now have completed the Iceborne Gauntlet as, oh no, Findo.
Another bubble, another chance for them to find a kill as Katsuri is denied by the Emerald Shades, and oh no! He's been completely baited as a result, overestimated his damage there. You'd think it would be enough with a 2-item spike and the Imperial Mandate to boot, but unfortunately the kill's gone askew, and Fury punish with conviction.
Who's baiting who there, Skimmy? Karma looked like she was about to be one-shot, but the Mantra W just providing a ridiculous amount of healing, and that will allow the Assassin Xin, who only has the Titanic Hydra, to come in and pick up the scraps. The Direwolves bot lane falling is really a bad sign as Hooper, fancy feat to dodge the chains there.
Very lucky to dodge on that one, otherwise he certainly was a sitting duck that would fall victim to yet another kill. And I suppose whilst we get one moment, because this game is very hard for us to actually break them down, a very different build from Hooper's variation of the Twisted Fate, going for the Static Shiv Rush.
Yeah, I think the Static Shiv Rush, I think it's kind of saying that I'm losing the lane, so I want to value the wave clear as, hold on, we're not going to get that second after all. Here goes the Rift Herald fight.
Certainly is that Rift Herald fight, getting closer and closer to smite range. The focus is kill Lee, since there is no smite fight in the first place, so he does fall on down. Thomasino is dead though. The 8-0 Yasuo has finally been shut down, and Findo is surrounded by so many members that for Memphis he says, this is my best champion, and best champion for a reason.
That is a lovely sequence there if you are the LeBlanc, because actually the TF ult is going to come in to pick up the Herald, so they managed to get it after all. But really, honestly, besides that objective going over, you're very happy for the Direwolves here. Lots of gold going on to Empus, who grabs a triple kill and the shutdown onto Yasuo. And will now go back to pick up the Lich Bane. So let's take a look once again at how this play starts out. The TP is coming in from the LeBlanc. A 3v4 to start this play off, and you can see Thomasino just takes too much damage off the start. It allows Empus to jump in and take him down. And then once the Yasuo is gone, you lose so much of your damage. It's a nice mantra Q there from Findo to kill the Rift Herald. But ultimately, Empes feeling very nice off the back end of that one. Tomasino forcing the flash out from Katsuri.
Yeah, not one to be deterred by that shutdown moments prior. He's back in business and straight away keen for a fight, but Tomasino is in trouble. River's looking for it, but the ultimate comes out hunting for that last spread. So Shiki is the one to pick up the shutdown. That's not where you want the goal to go, but they want the kill all the same. Removed from the fight now is Katsuri as he jumps on in. Feeling avenged, feeling strong enough to take this one, but gets taunted, but doesn't die. And that's the real kicker here, is Emphasis across the wall, kill after kill, multi-kill after multi, finds the first ace of this match.
The Direwolves are striking back with their vengeance now. They take Tomasino out once again before the fight even starts, and that is the signal to keep going forward. They'll get the ace and they'll get their third dragon of the game in only 19 minutes.
Let's run it back with a replay one more time. I need a second to catch my breath, Max. Run us through this.
All right, I'll play-by-play this. So you can see Tomasino initially looking to get aggressive on Katsuri. The initial engage is rebutted and he takes a bubble to the head. That is the go signal for River to get in there and take him down off the back end of this Katsuri. This culling doing so much damage. There's no DPS left. And look at Empes in the bottom of the screen. This LeBlanc, the perfect janitor to really clean this fight up for the side of Direwolves.
And clean up they did. And really is the case of you will not escape us. I feel like that is a name you could label the Direwolves comp with, that if you feel like you're going to limp away, that is never an option. How many times did we see in that first game, right, when Fury held on for dear life with members bleeding but never dying, that Brand and that Aatrox in particular. Not to be the case this time, though, as really Emphis is saying, look, you did all that heavy lifting in game one, Katsuri, you're back on that Lucian again, but let me look to try and be the hero this time around. Tomasino, though, is back to his old antics. We're going to try and challenge River, who is no doubt going to be feeling a little bit upset that as the lanes flip around, he's still stuck underneath a tier 2 tower. But he knows that the rest of his team is certainly in a very strong position to try and take over this game. And with a slim gold lead of, what, 2k? We've got 3 dragons, and they're still hunting for more kills.
And honestly, this time the matchup isn't actually too bad. You can see the Warden's Mail plus Tarby's coming online for River. Means he'll be fairly resilient against the Yasuo's damage, but not against Nox as well. You can see they've brought him down here to crack open his turret. 6 Void Grubs means that turret absolutely melts, and they'll pick up the gold. Meanwhile, it's the mid lane that's the focus for the Direwolves. They'll back off temporarily, perhaps respecting a TP flank. Well, once again, so close here. The Baron, really a consideration for either team given how much DPS is available, especially if they're able to bring their top laners down. But at this stage, no team is showing signs of collapsing. No team is showing signs of giving that over. And you can see in the inventories now, Empis working his way towards that death cap. This is a very fed LeBlanc off the back end of 2 fights going in his favor, who is now going to provide such a challenge for Fury to match on these side lanes.
Which is ironic when you consider that they're the team that have the 2 globals to try and threaten all the time, but they've been unable to be truly proactive in that regard. But no doubt having Tomasino constantly sat in the side lane, utilising those 6 Void Grubs that you highlight, does mean that if he does get under siege, if he does get picked apart like he did in game 1 as the Camille, they've instantly got the ability to hit the Hero's Engine or the Destiny to say, okay, how many members are actually coming your way? How many members do we need to then use to try and back you up with? But it's 22 minutes in. What, nearly 2,000 gold lead in favor of Direwolves, but they're just biding their time. 2 minutes away, they can get themselves yet another soul point. And that, with the death cap, you're thinking, surely, even before that takes place, it's Emphasis hunting for kills, or at least looking to try and burn some flashes.
Oh, he absolutely can do more than that, Skimmy, at this point. Really, if he finds anyone alone, nothing short of a kill is to be expected. And really, taking a look at the damage that's available from both teams, you do have to worry about what Fury are going to be able to pull out here. Yes, they have a lot of early game damage, but as the game goes on, you can see the builds that they're going for. Fair bit more defensive on their top and mid, and especially the AD carry, given how far Hooper is behind, not going to be able to keep up with Katsuri in terms of damage. So with 1.5 minutes here on this Dragon Spawn, you can see the Direwolves posturing towards this bot side of the map, setting their vision line up. They've got that one little ward on Baron, but besides that, all their attention is directed towards the bot side of the map.
And you mentioned attention. I also want to talk about itemization. The attention towards them building armor is nice, right? Iceborne Gauntlet and the Full Mail, fantastic. But where's the magic resistance, Max? Where is that magic damage really going to be looked to get mitigated? Because at this stage, Emphis really will be looking to try and do some true damage. He's going to be an absolute menace. Shinky is stuck between a rock and a hard place, really gritting his flash here, not wanting to burn it, using it at the very last moment. Incredibly greedy, but has it baited in Fury enough for Direwolves ready to counteract. They're buying time for Emphis to return from bot lane all the way back up to mid. The Vanguard's Edge tags up all five as Nox jumps in, finally takes Shinky out of the equation. Emphis biding his time, waiting to reveal himself on the screen, and here he goes. Doesn't want to get locked in place by the gold card, doesn't want to get taunted by the Galio. Lisa jumping in, waiting for the counter-strike, hits what? Two members with that stun as he jumps on in. Emphis still biding his time, waiting for the moment. And you're just waiting to see all those members fall on down on that scoreboard, but multiple members and Direwolves are actually dying. Is Emphis trying to make a hero's play, but he does it all on his own. As he jumps in, instantly gets shut down. And the classic meme of an 0-10 Yasuo and solo queue, that's not what we're dealing with right now. Tomasino is the king. He's 10-2.
Oh, Tomasino executed that fight absolutely perfectly. He started off by finding the initial pick onto Shinky, forcing him out at very low HP and having to flash out, and then I'm sure we'll see it in the replay, but he lands a tornado onto Katsuri during the middle of that fight, takes him down, and also manages to cut down Emphis. So you could see that the Direwolves, they had the right idea with bringing the Aurelia in to look for a flank. As we take a look once again, Tomasino just finding Shinky all by himself, uses the wind wall to zone off Katsuri, so there's no potential damage as a result. And like you mentioned, Shinky very greedy with that flash, waiting till the very last minute to use it. There is a TP in from River, lands a nice Vanguard's Edge, but ultimately the Galio ult isn't enough to dissuade the initial follow-up. Shinky killed on the backline almost as an afterthought, and keep your eyes on Tomasino as this fight goes on. He's stacking up his passive, he's stacking up his Qs rather on the wave, expertly kiting out, doesn't use the ult there, and uses the wind wall once again. You can see, takes down Lisa, and look at his tornado here, lands on Katsuri, does a Beyblade onto him that despite the cleanse forces him to still go down, and then has the damage, has the survivability to actually live through Emphasis barrage, and then take him down off the back end. God, Skimmy, I don't know how our voices, how our hearts are going to be able to survive the rest of this game.
I've already got a stress ball in my hand and I'm furiously squeezing it here, Max. I tell you what, this game really is raising the blood pressure. You just don't know which way it's going to go. Right at the replay, we go again. 1-for-1 straight away, off to the Baron. As Fury say, do we contest this? Direwolves as a free man, surely not. It's down to 50%. You need more time, you need more pressure. And they lack the vision to figure out, do we go for this kill or not? Chert, the only one actually standing on that vision I mentioned. And with the counter-strike, they say, we're not interested. That gold card would turn things around. And I feel like we had a bit of a cast a curse moment. I said that Emphis was incredibly strong, which is still very much the case. But even without that magic resistance, he wasn't able to one-shot anyone.
Yeah, Tomasino is just so leveled up at this point. Got the shield bow online as well as the health that he's getting from that Iceborne Gauntlet. Fails the E-dash over the wall there. But it doesn't matter. He will be working his way onto the side lane now. Actually, Katsuri is looking here as well.
Just blind time, really. They're going to try and play with their food. Is decided Direwolves in this two-man affair as they are the strongest members on the Direwolves. But if they split apart like that, then you certainly do lose. What was that? Is Emphis baiting Katsuri? I really do not know. He steals the spotlight in the end and says, you've got 10 kills, I've got 10 kills too. Let's really have that fiesta in the bot lane.
Still a 1-for-1 though, and you have to imagine that taking out Katsuri, Tomasino is feeling pretty happy. That's a lot of the damage that is coming out from the Direwolves down. But as for the time being, no Baron will be started. You can see that, yes, Hooper does have a decent amount of items at this point in the game, but certainly not going to be one-shotting the Baron. And with Katsuri respawning in 10 seconds, not wanting to take that unnecessary risk. Now, going into the late game, it really does come down to how this Yasuo is going to be able to function in these team fights. We saw from that previous example what happens if he's able to get access onto the backline. But I'm positive that Direwolves, especially Katsuri, will be looking to make sure that doesn't happen. Instead, trying to kite him out. Use that LeBlanc, who's so fed, to really pick him off before the fight starts.
Certainly easier said than done, though, as we've seen these fights have been a meticulous little dance-off, as they say, who's got the better moves. And on multiple occasions, it has flip-flopped between the two of them. The judges undecided as to which way they want to vote for this one. We said 2-0 for Fury. And boy, were we wrong in that regard. 1 minute you're thinking it's the perfect 2-0 for Direwolves, with the next minute you're thinking Fury are going to bring it back for a back-to-back draw day. But we are reaching that late game point now, very early on, where full items are soon to become a real possibility. You can see already Tomasino working towards that sixth and final item, as they will simply two-man the Baron, and Direwolves just do not expect it.
This is really nice here from the side of Fury. I mean, yes, you lose Chirp, but the cost is a Baron, and you'll more than happily take that. You can see they set up Hooper and Findo on the mid wave and Chirp on the top wave to kind of act as though nothing was wrong. I did wonder what the fact that Tomasino's not showing on the bot wave would give any suspicion, but ultimately the Direwolves not able to read it. And for what's been a very even game, Fury secure themselves a huge advantage.
But they certainly do. A two-man Baron picked on up, 4 members with the buff in hand, and certainly does put them in good stead then to try and close things out. Still, the Dragon Soul up for grabs. That's the next time that Direwolves can look to really contest things, and that's 30 seconds away. I do find it interesting with the difference that Hooper's gone for in this build, that he's also just decided to sit on that magical footwear. He doesn't even care about Swifties or Berserkers.
Well, I think he's fast enough with all the movement speed he's getting from his items, as well as the fleet footwork. So we'll pop the barrier there on the mid wave, expecting perhaps a bit of a bigger trade to come out as Nox.
Oh my gosh, that is the damage that LeBlanc can really do. The Crescent Guard goes on out and says, that didn't really find the value I was hoping for. Instant flash away. Out goes the Vanguard's Edge. Fantastic flash! Out of the Irelia stun, but if you dodge one, you can't dodge the second, and the culling gets the job done.
There we go, the ambush working in favor of the Direwolves as Tomasino a bit isolated here on the mid wave.
1v1 between 2 top laners. In comes the TP. Down comes the Hero's entrance. And the lockdown is on one target in particular. Removes this Irelia from the equation, but it instantly turn around into Katsuri, who dash flashes back into the river to safety, denied her vision, and denied that potential kill. And if Tomasino's dead, the fight seems to be screwed, as Fury now really do run for the hills. It's only Chirp and a Dream, and that Dream is soon to be extinguished. But the flash proving to be good enough.
This time the Tornado also lands into Katsuri, but this time the Direwolves are ready. They're able to respond in what is a 3v5 thanks to some fantastic picks from Emphis. They will secure the mid lane turret, and they will also head towards this dragon and pick themselves up the Mountain Soul.
Mountain Soul finally acquired, as a Baron-inspired team losing a fight is certainly not the position you want to find yourself in now. Let's run it back on this replay, because it all starts off with Emphis just simply destroying.
Yeah, it's basically a one-shot there onto Nox, and the second that Xin Zhao falls down, River feels like he has the space in the front line to be able to go forward. And because there isn't an initial flash from Hooper onto that Vanguard's Edge, he gets slowed and gets taken down. And now this mid lane, I think Tomasino here wants to try to cut this wave, acknowledging that the rest of the Direwolves will be heading towards this dragon. But it's a nice little response here from the Direwolves. You can see the Q3 landing onto Katsuri, baits him in, but plain and simple, Katsuri is ready. He dashes over the wall, creates enough space, and then Lisa can follow to pick up the kill. And simply, once Yasuo is down, once your TF is down, where is your damage?
Yeah, no damage, no chance, no support for Galio to offer. Really support his own mental health of getting me out of this very dire situation. Certainly not where he wants to find himself now. And at 31 minutes, whilst Direwolves did pick up that Mountain Soul, Tomasino now does respawn with his full build complete. He's now got the Randuins, and it really is going to be that trade-off as to, is my champion tanky enough to endure all this pain and punishment? Because whilst I can one-shot people, at the same time I can certainly share that same fate myself.
One-shotting is kind of the name of the game here. I think both comps certainly capable of it. Direwolves more so though, with how explosive this LeBlanc and Lucian are at the moment. You can see the inventory of Memphis basically just 1600 gold away from being full build here. How confident he's playing, he doesn't care whatsoever, just dashing into the base here. And now importantly, there is no Baron to come from the Direwolves, so they won't be able to actually make a significant dent with these waves as they would have hoped. But that is spawning in 2 minutes. So for now, they're going to have to settle for priority. They're going to have to settle for control. And control is absolutely what they're seeking to get here. You can see just pushing up their vision line. Only the Scuttle Crab providing any sort of vision for Fury across that halfway point. And now it becomes so hard. I mean, yeah, you have this Galio who's somewhat of a tank. But even then, we saw what happened to Xin Zhao, who face-checked LeBlanc before. It is not an easy task for Fury to leave their base.
Certainly isn't incredibly scary for them to try and walk out here. You can see them even predicting potential dashes across the wall with Chirp hovering at that taunt. But as you mentioned, the Baron up in a minute, the overlap being that an Elder is to potentially look forward to in 3. It does feel like this night has all been about late game fiestas where an Elder is on the table, and really who can ever get the better respawn time may just profit as a result, and certainly are finding ourselves a situation where everybody's looking to try and share in the jubilance of full builds galore. Everybody at max power and potential. And Max, is it almost too cliche to even bring up the consideration of what late game scaling looks like?
Oh no, I think it absolutely is a very valid conversation, especially with the way that the Direwolves have constructed their team comp. Jax is obviously a fantastically scaling champion, but River might be caught here. He's very mobile, but they're still going to look at him.
Hit by the Karma Chain, dashing away to safety to try and break that one, dodging out of the stun from the Aurelia is Tomasino, so the 1v1 takes place. The Tornado not going to connect inside the base of Direwolves though. Direwolves River is just buying time, surging away to safety. Tomasino can do the exact same though. He is a Yasuo, and Fino saying, why am I here? Can we eventually get this kill? But it's a very tanky Aurelia, which does die after what feels like an eternity. Direwolves still aggressive in their 4-man stack, waiting for the face check. Nox is looking, and Nox is very grateful. Their Emphis misses the chains, but they do get that mid inhibitor, and they do keep Fury locked down, so they cannot set up for Baron.
The mid inhibitor's broken here, but the Aurelia death timer really is the key consideration. They don't know whether they want to head back towards the Baron from the side of Direwolves, or just go down mid lane.
Well, it's certainly good to just go down mid lane as the Crescent Guard gets burned, as Nox is anticipating a world of pain to come from afar, but it just doesn't work out that way. And they do force Direwolves to back away and in because there's a threat that you now need to deal with, and that is bot lane. Tomasino, with those 6 Void Grubs, is standing still. BC there. Now you have to imagine a pause is only imminent. It does come out at the very end, and you wouldn't be too surprised that we see a chrono break as well. This is a weird situation to find ourselves in, and yes, it doesn't have implications on the standings, but certainly you don't want to lose a game based on a very unfortunate disconnect.
No, that is brutal there. You could see him just standing still under that tier 3 turret, falling victim to Emphis in that 1v1. And he was getting so much work done in that side lane, following the kill from Aurelia. Such a long death timer that you would have hoped that he'd been able to pick up something off the back end there. So we will have to wait and see what the verdict is there.
Yeah, we certainly will, but until such point, what a banger. What a banger of a game, what a banger of a series, what a banger of a night here, Max. I mean, in terms of us going back-to-back days, no tiebreakers to look forward to on Thursday, but I feel like these last few weeks, especially these last couple of days, our voices have been definitely put to the limit.
Yeah, look, I'm just trying to actually get a tea made up right now so I can continue casting this game, because honestly, it feels like we still have so much left to go in this game with the Baron just having come up. It really has been a bit of a dance as to whether the teams want to be finding those picks onto the bot lane or whether they are valuing that Baron control. Right now, we can see that the Direwolves have a pretty firm position on that mid lane wave, especially with this Lucian, who really is just so powerful at this stage that anyone who walks up is in danger of being one-shot. We'll have to wait and see, though, as we're back to live here. Tomasino.
Yeah, we are back to live, and Tomasino is just going to simply fall on down. Unfortunately for him, that is a 60-second respawn time, and that feels absolutely awful. But that's where we find ourselves in right now. That is the hand that has been dealt as Hooper with a gold card, actually switching over to the blue. And does he die as a result of that one? As River flashes to safety and hits the Vanguard, ditch the Blade Surge back in, but a phenomenal flash afterwards. But it's not enough. Aurelio, what a champion. Reset after reset, hunting for more. Inside the Baron, still going for more. As Emphis gets the double, he finishes off what they found in the mid lane. Findo running for the hill with those Mantra E shields. The mobility proving to be just a little bit too much here for the Aurelia.
Right out of a pause, Skimmy, and right into a 0-2. You have to imagine here as River will be looking to cancel Findo's base. The rest of Direwolves are cracking onto these Nexus turrets. There's a bunch of damage. These death timers are so long. I think they can do it. I think they can secure themselves the 2-0.
Certainly seems to be the way. An anticlimactic pause there, and a game that really had it all. This is Direwolves fighting their first 2-0. It feels like an eternity, but this really is a game that was much more balanced. It wasn't just a Katsuri show the whole team delivered.
It was a bloodbath there, but the Direwolves in their final showing of the season will get to do what they haven't done all split. They'll pick themselves up the 2-0, and what better way to put the capstone on this season.
That it certainly is. What a night, what a day, what a situation we find ourselves in. Let's run it off to a break then. and break down all the action tonight right after the short break. Continue to fight. River, chill out. He's 4-0. This Yasuo is trying to do the Una reverse and not going 0-10, but 10-0 instead. Tomasino is in trouble. River's looking for it, but the ultimate comes out, hunting for that last spread. The Shiki